My name's Emil. I'm a digital strategist and I answer marketing questions. This is episode 31 and it's a two-parter and it's all about the Facebook algorithm and it comes from two separate questions on Reddit. Question number one. This is posted by Lord Greedy. Should I turn on detailed target expansion when I use lookalike audiences for Facebook? This is a question my clients ask me and other content creators or marketers ask me all the time. So I want to take this head on and factor how the algorithm will assess this lookalike audience. And the next question is from Risa Wolf. If we're stacking everything, then what are we left to do? And this is a great question for a Facebook marketer. Everybody knows now that you just want to stack a lot of the right audience to get in front of the user, to get positive conversions. So if we're just doing that, what are we left to do as marketers? What are we charging for? These are phenomenal questions, and I can't wait to jump into all this. In this video, what I'm going to cover in part one is a real look at how Facebook's algorithm works, unbiased, 100% directly from the technical specs of Facebook. Then the one question that will change your results if you ask this question of all your marketing efforts on Facebook and Instagram. I swear this works every single time. Pow! And lastly, how we can make Facebook's algorithm start working for us. So I'm going to jump in all this, but first, every Sunday, I send out one email that recaps all the marketing questions I answered that week. If you want to stay up to date on best practices, strategies, and become an overall stronger marketer, I think you would really enjoy this recap. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the newsletter and my YouTube channel. Now, back to the answer. From the jump, detailed expansion, stack targeting, these are all red herrings. They come in a long line of misunderstood optimizations. For years now, we've done things like trying to warm a pixel, trying to get to 500 to 1,000 conversions, conversions versus traffic, conversions versus catalog, CBO versus ABO, and all of these do have minute differences, but these are tactics that we're using. We're trying to deploy tactics to get somebody to come to our site and purchase. And I've spent lots of money on Facebook. I'm sure some of you spend a lot of money on Facebook, and you know some of the changes here made a big difference, and they surely should. But again, they're tactics, and it's an escalating arms race between us marketers and the Facebook algorithm. But unlike a traditional arms race, we don't know where the battleground quite often is or what the weaponry needed are. So most marketers in the end are optimizing in the wrong direction on Facebook and Instagram continuously. I've been guilty of it many, many times over. I'm sure you're guilty of it. Most people are guilty of this. And that's not a problem because we're bad at our job or we're bad at our job. It's a lot of conflicting information out there. Let's break down the Facebook algorithm, and not conjecturally. Let's look at the documentation issued by Facebook itself and see how for years we have been working against ourselves as marketers. When I saw this for the first time, I literally could not believe it because there is no education from Facebook or very small amounts of education, and almost all gurus promoting Facebook ads are pushing us in the wrong direction. We have, as marketers, been going the wrong way, swimming upstream this whole time. The link below will take you directly to the source of all this information, which is Facebook themselves. No third party, no interpretation, 100% from Facebook. And it's broken down into three areas of focus. And the areas are inventory, integrity process, and contextual pass. Now, the inventory process is on a per user basis. This isn't all of inventory that Facebook has. This is on a per user basis. And what happens is Facebook is studying up to 1,000 posts in real time per user, determining and scoring posts to pass it through the next phase, which is the integrity process. So there's 1,000 posts, your ads included, that get wrapped up for every user in real time, every time they open up Facebook or Instagram. That integrity process then says, out of the ones that have made it past the inventory and have scored high enough to get to the integrity process, now need to be rated on how likely is this post to add value to that end user as far as truth. And this is a complicated metric, but that's kind of the medium that it has to pass through. And once your ad or any post in that user's potential timeline passes there, then they get selected for relevance and many other factors before it ends up on their phone. So when we're setting up targeting, or we're trying to build lookalike audiences, or we're warming the pixel, none of that is actually referenced in any of this. So let's jump in and break it down in bits and pieces. The Facebook algorithm starts off by analyzing 1,000 posts per user. So you open it up and there's a potential of 1,000 posts that your Facebook or Instagram timeline has analyzed before pushing what they find relevant stories to you. Each one of those passes has a different machine learning model that's at play. There's not one machine learning model. There's multiple machine learning models that are grading posts on several different criterion. And the first one is relationships. The relationship pass-through means how likely are you and the people you follow to enjoy this content. Not just you, but also the people you follow and that follow you back. Excuse me. This means that what they want to do is they want to make sure that the post that you're seeing has a higher rate of shareability because you and your community, the people, your friends, your family, the pages and the celebrities, all of that infrastructure that you build entertainment and socially around that content needs to fit that, because that gives that post, that story, a likelihood of spreading socially. That is Facebook's primary objective. Second is the content type. So this is going to be, is it an image? Is it a video? Is it just text? These content types matter because Facebook is prioritizing the content that you're likely to not only engage with, but that you're not oversaturated by one content type. This is super important because marketers tend to work in schools, right? Or shoals. And popularity. How popular is that post that you're about to see? They want to give you a healthy balance of posts that are active and popular and new incoming posts that have the potentiality of being popular. And then lastly, the recency. How recent is this post that has made it through all of these filters? So the multiple machine learning engines, one has analyzed it on a relationship basis, then another on a content type basis, then another on popularity, and then another one on a timeline. How recent, how likely are you to interact with something that's a week old versus 24 hours old, and where does it fit in the potential reach into your relationships? And then all of these give it a scorecard, and then they pass that scorecard to a final machine learning engine that takes any conflictions or any data that seems out of whack and gives it a final score before it goes into your feed. All of this happens in real time, and it happens for billions of users. So let's jump into their documentation to uncover the secret that we can kind of tap into. So to calculate this for more than 1,000 posts for each of the billions of users, all in real time, we run these models for all candidate stories in parallel on multiple machines called predictors. So they're running every potential story, those 1,000 stories, in parallel simultaneously across all of the metrics that they really focus on. And these are called the predictors. And they're predicting how you're going to interact, how your community is going to interact, and how long that post has the likelihood of sticking around to gain more momentum. Pretty cool, right? In real time. Finally, we run the contextual pass, in which contextual features like content type diversity rules are added to make sure Juan's newsfeed, they started a story off with a guy named Juan, has a good mix of content types, and he's not seeing multiple video posts one after the other. So remember when a few years ago videos were just killing on Facebook? That's because nobody was making them. Now that everybody's making them, videos are actually oversaturated in a lot of markets, depending on the audience you're targeting, the likelihood that audience is seeing videos versus images. There's so many variables going in here, but as we marketers are in this arms race, and we're not competing with Facebook, we're competing with each other, right? And this is what's hurting us. Mathematically, things get more complex when we need to optimize for multiple objectives that add up to our primary objective. Let me read that slower, more carefully, and really emphasize. Mathematically, things are more complex when we need to optimize for multiple objectives that all add up to our primary objective. Facebook is telling you all of these factors are all aimed towards one unit of measurement. Creating the most long-term value for people by showing them content that is meaningful and relevant to them. Creating the most long-term value. Long-term value to Facebook, to Meta, to Instagram is stakeholders. So long-term value is how long you will stay in Facebook in Instagram? How often will you open up the feed, and how often will you engage with your community? This is what they value. This is where they're targeting. And what they're deeming meaningful and relevant is the things that's going to help them gain their primary objective. So if you're wondering how to hack the system, right? There is no hacking the system. Facebook's giving you the rules here. So I'm gonna pose a question that once I started asking this question, overnight, my success on Facebook has been insane, and in different levels, not just sales, so many different levels. The big question: how do your ads help users and Facebook? So if you look at your content, if you look at all of the stuff that you're putting out on Facebook right now, how does that help Facebook optimize for its primary objective? And how does that primary objective focus of relevancy, content type diversity, and relationship integration, and engagement specificities, how do those items of your ad, how do any of them benefit Facebook or the end user? Look at all your content and start asking that question. If we optimize for Facebook's primary value point, I guarantee this will work for you. So what I did here was just break down why the algorithm, it's not a mystery, it's just we've been fed and misled by so many people the wrong information, and Facebook's done such a poor job of communicating this. So if we optimize for Facebook's primary value, the world changes. I mean, absolutely changes for you. So part 2 is up on my YouTube channel and my website, which is thankyou.com/Ask Emil. It deals with exactly how we can optimize into the Facebook algorithm, how we can get Facebook to work for us. I hope this was helpful, and if it was, please check out part 2, and it would mean the world to me, truly, if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel or to my Sunday recap, where I send every question that I've answered that week to users on Sunday afternoon to digest on their own time. As always, good luck and happy marketing.